10-10 Take.
The 10-10 Take is brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter, plumbing, septic, and air conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. That's duckduckrooter.com. If you were ever wondering whether or not Lane Kiffin was going to leave, you can wonder no more. I was shocked and amused by his presser after the game against Florida. They had beaten Florida, a good, solid win against a feisty Florida team, but they fought them off, found a way to win the game. After the game, he was doing his presser. One of the questions he got was the ultimate tee-up question to talk about his love for Ole Miss. The reporter essentially said, Lane, when you see this crowd, when you see how excited they were, when you see how they supported you, isn't it easier now to picture what a blue blood that Ole Miss can be, just like the Blue Bloods, that they can support it, and that that's what you have now? It was the perfect opportunity, Hayes, for Lane Kiffin to say, you're right. Those fans were great. We're in this together. We love them. They love us. Man, it felt as good as it could. He was teeing him up to say that. Lane Kiffin's answer to the question was a smirk and go, were you here last week? That's what he said.
For the Citadel game.
Word for right, when nobody showed up. That's what he said. He goes, his answer to the question when the guy was totally teeing him up to laud Ole Miss and to laud their fans, he goes, were you here last week? I was shocked. He
What was today? Were you here last week?
That was it. Do you have the question too, JJ? I want you to play the question and the answer.
Lane, you praised tonight's environment. Since you got here to now, do you believe this Ole Miss fan base and program has kind of risen to the occasion to be respected and revered as a kind of blue blood or elite program?
What was today? Were you here last week?
When I heard that answer,
I mean, talk about kneecapping a guy.
I mean, he made it.
And a school.
He does come back to be like, they were good today.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But
doesn't matter.
But he could
dropped
not
the
have
hammer.
said. Let me translate. I'm leaving.
Right.
Okay. Quit asking me if I'm staying. I'm leaving. That's what that answer. It could not have been more clear. That if ever there was a chance.
Imagine bragging about having 68,000 people show up to a football game, by the way.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
but
welcome to 1972, Ole Miss.
Yeah, but the point is, if you love your school and you're not leaving, there's your chance. And of course he's leaving. He could not have been any more clear about that. So
it was like the president told that guy, go ask him the easiest
right.
question
And again,
ever.
I completely thought when I heard that he's going to say, even though he's still going to leave, he's going to say, you know what?
We appreciate these fans.
You know what? Those fans, you're right. They were great tonight, and I'm proud of them, and I'm proud of how we've grown together. And it could not have been more clear that he is leaving. Were you here last week? Whew. I mean, and he was. And by the way, if you remember after the Washington State game, when his offense muddled around, he goes, our offense didn't show up just like our student section. Do you remember that?
I do.
So clearly, there can now be no more debate. You can debate LSU Florida if you want.
Sure.
But there can now be no more. I was wrong, by the way. I said it's either Florida or stay at Ole Miss. Well, it's clear he's not staying at Ole Miss. Right. Again, I'll play that thing 100 times if you have to. It's clear he's
Has
not.
anyone ever stayed at Ole Miss?
They haven't. But there was all this talk that he might.
Yeah.
So anyway, whatever Lane Kiffin does, I'll tell you what he's not doing. He ain't going to the Grove. He's not staying at Ole Miss, and so I thought that was clear. Update. We'll talk more about this after headlines. But I do believe now the narrative is this: they've met, Florida and Ole Miss. A lot of people. It was never happening yesterday, by the way. This rumor that it was going to happen after the Florida game with Mississippi State still to play, that was never going to happen. Okay. So and again, I'm not trying to demean people who said that, but it was never happening yesterday. I do believe from sources that I have and others that they've met, that they have a pretty good idea where it's headed, that they're trying to figure out the best way to do it, and that he's going to be the Florida coach. I don't think there's many details left. I think he'll be the Florida coach. My opinion is it'll be announced after the end of the regular season. I told you this last week. I think it's going to be announced after the Egg Bowl, and I think what I hope happens, I said this on the rundown, I said this on All Things Gators, with Dan, with you on.
How many podcasts do you do?
I did two today. So anyway, point is, I told Dan this today. I think I would not be surprised to see Scott Strickland get up there and say, "We are thrilled to introduce Lane Kiffin as our next head coach. We respect Lane in the importance of our conference brethren making a run at a national title. So we certainly respect the fact that Lane's got to do what he's got to do in his current job. We'll start building the program here. He'll start rebuilding what he has to do. Some of his coaches will be here, but we respect our conference brethren, and if he wants to go, we support what he wants to do." And I think, and then Ole Miss has to decide whether they want him to do it or not. That's where I think it's headed.
Yeah, and again, I don't know why Ole Miss wouldn't let him continue to coach. I mean, that makes no sense to me. I don't think Ole Miss has any decision. I mean, unless they just want to really misplay their hand. I would agree. You know, and the thing too, this is the other thing to keep in mind with this. Lane Kiffin has embraced the social media world. So this is going to be a production. This is not going to be something – a lot of head coaches aren't wired this way, and they don't want it to be necessarily like a big thing. Lane Kiffin wants this to be a big thing. I kind of think it's the only reason he's really talking to LSU. I mean, I think he's doing the right thing from a business standpoint. I think his agent, Jimmy Sexton, has said, Lane, we've got to hear out LSU. But I don't think LSU is and this is nothing against LSU. I mean, I think they're a fantastic football program. I do think they have some administrative issues that could easily scare off an elite candidate. I just think Lane Kiffin's always wanted to be the Florida coach. I think that's what this is. I think Florida got lucky in that the hottest coach on the market has a personal tie to the Gators and has always viewed that as a special place. But I think it is going to be a special, and I could see Lane Kiffin. The Egg Bowl is Friday. Florida hosts Florida State Saturday. I would not be the least bit surprised if Lane Kiffin is in the swamp for that game, whether it's going into the broadcast booth and doing a segment. I mean, I think the announcement comes Saturday, that morning perhaps, so that Lane Kiffin can participate in the final game in some fashion, whether that's getting on the microphone and speaking to the swamp, whether that's just coming out and waving or whatever. But this is going to be, in my opinion, a big production, and I think that you're going to see it unfold in a week from Saturday.
Hey, Lane, do you think maybe Ole Miss now can be a blue blood with that crowd?
Boy.
Were you here last week?
I mean, we've all been in press conferences. Yeah, look, I asked one time, I'll tell you a time I got kneecapped in a press conference. I asked Will Muschamp, I was covering the Gators for the Times-Union in 2012, I think this would have been. Well, it would have had to have been. I only did one football season.
They're good year.
Yeah. And it was right after Mike Gillislee ran for like 3 touchdowns and 180 yards in a win over LSU. So Monday, when Muschamp came in, I asked him, I said, do you think Mike Gillislee should be in the Heisman discussion? Which I thought was a perfectly fine question to ask. And Urban Meyer would have been like, oh, absolutely. You know, he was very much into promoting his players. Muschamp gave me a cancer, get out of here. I mean, he basically was like, oh, come on, let's. And so I asked another question because it was clear that he didn't want to go there. So obviously it's happened to me. I've seen it happen, but that guy, that is the ultimate kneecapping a reporter in a question.
And he also kneecapped a whole fan base.
And his whole fan base and his administration. It was great too when his AD, there was video of this, and I apologize, I forgot who tweeted it out, but there was a video of LSU AD Keith Carter waiting on Kiffin to congratulate him as he was walking off the field, and Keith Carter's bouncing around like he's an 11-year-old girl at a One Direction concert, and Kiffin basically gave him the kind of the side hug and then quickly moved on. I think Keith Carter wanted to jump up into his arms like Jameson Winston did with the goalpost last night. Right. It was anyway. Sorry, Ole Miss. It's been a great run. Yeah, but it's over.
That comment from him in the press conference, not that I didn't think it anyway, confirmed it for me.
Hey gang, Hicken here. Thank you so much for watching 1010XL Gators on YouTube. Before you click away, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and be sure to check out our other team-specific channels on the 1010XL network on YouTube. Appreciate y'all, Googans.